the link here. Well, they can either ask in the... Is there a way for me to like share my screen here? I think that might be easier.
Yeah, there should be like an option for you at the bottom.
Okay.
At the bottom part of it. That or I can just screen share that.
Okay, let me...
Whichever one will... Wait. Oh yeah, on top of the workshop, if
Beautiful.
you haven't seen Misa's new model, she can show it off today.
What do you mean new model? I've had this model.
I don't know, has everyone seen it yet or not?
I've had this model for like a year now.
I don't know, but some people don't watch that many Twitch streams.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see if I can like turn on my VTube camera too. Does that work? Oh,
KZin_Silkencoat cheered X100. Happy Friday.
ENVtuber babe. See? Some people haven't seen it yet. They're new.
That's fair, that's fair. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna use my VTube Studio Cam, or actually I can.
KZin_Silkencoat cheered X150. Grats on the new model.
It's not a new model. Wait, oh, okay, view settings. What is this? Oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Okay, can you see me?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, I have to face like... Hold on, I gotta move my thing over here.
KZin_Silkencoat cheered X100. Grats on old model.
Right. Okay, so what time is it? 6?
It's like, yeah.
Should we wait a little longer?
Yeah, we can wait for a little bit.
Okay, let's wait like maybe 5 more minutes.
Sure.
Okay, I'm all set up and ready to go. So whenever, yeah. You know the lack, not necessarily perks, but like the opposite of perks of having like an ultra wide is that whenever I do like streaming stuff, it's just like, oh, your screen's so wide.
Yeah. It gets like that, or when it's like a curved monitor and like...
Oh yeah, mine's a curved monitor.
So like I like everything for me to be symmetrical and like in the layouts, but when like one sticks out too much on the end, like
KZin_Silkencoat cheered X100. I like wide screens with curves.
I'll just say. So it's like indented a little bit. The window, I mean, not the screen.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the font that you chose for this.
Yeah, thank you. I worked really hard on this presentation, okay, you guys? You don't understand. Hello, welcome. Oh, yeah, here, let me Discord me. So my stream buddy is Morphus, who is the event coordinator for the ENVtuber server. Yeah, so he will be helping to mediate the
Gonna
stream.
begin shortly in a few minutes.
Let's see here, let me switch over to this. Yeah. Oh, this is weird. I'm looking at my like camera from Discord, and then
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at my icon or like my model from the stream OBS, and it's like they're facing different directions. Okay, let's wait 2 more minutes and then we can start.
Morphus _ signed a contract with Misa. Kazin _ Silkencoat gifted a tier 1 sub to
Thank
Morphus
you for
_
the
Who gifted
sub.
They
Oh
have
my
given
gosh.
2 gift subs in the channel.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Silken Coat. Okay, thank you. I will use these emotes.
Okay, so that's actually one of the things that I was going to talk about, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So sorry if my my model is facing certain ways, because here, let me see if I can just move my camera so that I can look at both my screens at the same time, question mark. Because I'm not usually looking at both my screens. Let me see here. Move this guy. Oh, never mind. The cord is tight. Okay, that's better. That's better. Now it's not wildly looking to the certain direction.
It's been fixed.
Yeah. Okay. We can go ahead and start. It's 8:10. So, welcome guys to my streamer in Discord etiquette presentation. It's the do's and don'ts of online interactions. So, one thing to note is that, hold on, I'm blanking out already. It's been 2 seconds. Hold on. Oh no, okay, let's just go ahead and start. Okay. Yeah, can you see my cursor? No, you can't. Oh my gosh. Wait, no, you can see it on the workshop. But yeah, so, the thing that I was gonna say was that, no, I forgot already.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so the general topics for this, I remember what it was. So you'll find that a lot of these, this PowerPoint, this presentation, I did it as cutesy as possible that I could possibly handle, but I come from a very professional academic background, so it doesn't have any fancy animations, it doesn't have any pictures, I'm sorry. But let's go ahead and start. Oh yeah, that's sorry about the squeakiness. I have a dog in the apartment and he's being played with right now so that he can be quiet. But yeah, let's go ahead and start for realsies now. General topics for this presentation will be an introduction, networking basics, and then etiquette for viewers, streamers, and Discord, and then a conclusion. So what I will set this up as is we will have the topic at hand, and then I will have a section for a summary. And during that summary, you guys are welcome to ask any questions that you want, and I will answer them. And then after that, we will go into the next topic, and then more questions, and then next topic, and then questions, and then summary, and then, yeah. So save your questions for the end of every section, and then just ask whenever, I guess. All right, so we can start. Just a brief introduction about me. I am Misa Hino. I am a senior moderator for ENVtuber server. I have been a mod for about 2 years. Ever since I started VTubing, actually, I was a mod for the server. So it's pretty cool. I've been a senior moderator for about 1 year, but I have a lot of experience being on the internet, being a moderator, being a leader of communities. Spotify is paused while transmitting audio. What is this? Did someone click something? Okay. I'm gonna. What's this anyway? Ah! Okay. Oops. Slideshow. Sorry. Okay. I am going to disable that if I can. Let me see if I can disable that, because I want you guys to be able to hear music while May, go away. So I have a cat also, and my cat is, do you guys care about music? Do you want music? That's the real question here. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause Spotify then, because I don't think I'm able to like talk and Spotify at the same time. So, unfortunate. Okay, no music it is. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start it. Yeah, it's not a proper stream without a little bit of scuff. So that's definitely a thing. Yeah, anyway, so I've been a moderator for about as long as I can remember, and like different forums and stuff, like way back in like 2000 something, 2010-ish maybe. So yeah, so I've been a moderator for a while. Nowadays I work in corporate America, so I do a lot of like fancy emails and all this fancy stuff that like doesn't really have a lot of fluff to it. So I will apologize ahead of time if this presentation also doesn't have a lot of fluff to it. But yeah, so I use the corporate experience for the fundamentals of my streaming and moderating. I take a lot of the things that I've learned in corporate and just kind of like move it to my moderating style. So if you guys ever like submit a mod mail, you'll see that the answers, if they're answered by me, are usually very, very cut and dry. So yeah. But anyway, moving on. The obligatory disclaimer slide is this presentation is based off of my personal experience and opinions. So it's completely valid to have differing opinions. If you have something else that you like disagree with or something, that's totally fine. I'm not saying this is like the entire thing that you need to go with. It's just kind of like whatever advice you feel hits well with you, then go ahead and live by it, you know? So yeah. I have another disclaimer. Yeah. So I have another disclaimer. Why are we doing it in this first place? So some streamers don't know how to set their own boundaries. So part of why I decided to do this workshop was because I feel like it's very important to be able to make your streamers as comfortable as possible. And then also, since this presentation, this workshop also covers streamers interacting with their viewers, it, what is it? It gives them the opportunity to learn how to set their own boundaries, kind of thing. Just so that everyone is able to have a healthy environment where they are able to communicate with each other. In general, or don't take things too personally. If like you get warned or if you get banned, it's usually because you break some rules. But it isn't necessarily like a personal attack at you. If someone is doing a personal attack at you, that's usually not a good sign. So personally, I would get out of that kind of environment. But in general, if you break rules and cause discomfort towards others, you should be warned or banned, hands down. That's just like my rule. So let's go ahead and start. The basics of networking. So the topics that I'll be covering during this this mini topic, I guess, is the definition of networking, things to do and things not to do, and then a summary at the end. So during that summary is when you'll be able to ask questions. What is networking? The definition of networking is interacting with others to develop social and professional connections. So by being in this call, you are technically networking. Like you are building connections with other people just by being in the server as well. If you talk to other people on social media or even in other discords, you are networking then. Networking is like literally just talking to other people, getting to know them and building connections. So the more connections you have, the more professional and social growth that you have. So it's all very like important just to be able to network well and to be able to network effectively. Things to do. Well, first, you need to do your homework on the people that you are looking to network with. Do you have the same energy? Do you have similar stream content, similar audiences or audience demographics, or like who you're trying to target audience? And then similar vibes are important. So you want to be able to make sure that the people that you could talk to are similar in mindset or similar in style, because the better you get along or the better you connect, the better you get along, kind of thing. So social media networking posts are something that I personally don't really recommend just because like if you go into those social media networking posts, sometimes it's just like a follow for follow and you don't really want to do that. But if it is a genuine thing where you're trying to like get to know other people, then that's pretty cool. Discord networking is something that you can do, go into new servers, branch out even though you're shy, etc., etc. So even though I'm looking at the viewer audience right now, and I'm seeing that there are some unfamiliar names. Even though you're lurking, I mean, you're still trying to network, right? You're here for a reason. So that's just kind of like the things you want to do, is just to put yourself out there, see if you can find someone that like connects with you and you connect with them. Things not to do. Oh no, she sees me. I see you, yes. But you know what? I've already seen you before, so I recognize your name. Things not to do, though, is to go into chats and plug social links. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Tagging other people on posts, unless it's allowed, like, don't tag someone on like someone else's personal tweet about how they hated their day because someone stepped on their toes, kind of thing. So you don't want to do that. Unsolicited DMs. Yeah, that can be considered as spam, so you don't really want to do that either. Unless otherwise stated, you want to ask before DMing someone, unless you really need to DM them. It's like, so in this server, we have a bot problem, and a lot of the times people will consider those unsolicited DMs as like, sorry, I was reading chat. So I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Okay, so moving on. Follow for followers are not really good for organic growth. You don't really have like the people who will engage with you and like talk to you, as well as like if you met them and then somehow you got along and then you like they watch you all the time because they like your content. Yeah, that's not going to happen with follow for follows. Unfortunately, it's just inflated numbers with no engagement. So those are things not to do when networking. So in summary, make sure you vibe with the person you're trying to network with, and then ask first if there is any kind of self-promotion you want to make. Follow for follows bring little to no engagement, and they're not really good for organic growth. So that's the takeaway from networking. Does anyone have any questions at this point in time? Okay, Angelo, what kind of questions do you want? Do you want to go into the speaker speaker section, or do you want to just ask in like chat? So how can you tell work demeanor from personal demeanor? I will get into that in, I think, my next section, which is viewer to streamer interactions. But in general, work demeanor and personal, you don't want to like assume that anything is personal whenever Okay, so the way that I see it is that like nothing is ever personal unless like someone ever always goes out of their way to make your day uncomfortable. So it's kind of like, say you get warned in the ENVtuber server, even though a mod is friendly with you and they talk to you all the time. They might give you a warning for like oversharing or trauma dumping, for example. And that's never personal because they're just trying to maintain the peace and the stability of the server, kind of thing. Another example, or an example of personal demeanor is, I would say, if in the context of a moderator, if they go see this is a hard question for me because I try to like separate work and personal stuff. So I guess an example would be if they're always like stepping on your toes, for the most silly reasons. So like if you just say like, oh, I had a bad day, and then they're like, don't talk about that here, kind of thing. I mean, they can say that, but is it like rule breaking? If it's not rule breaking, then it's probably personal or is inexperience. So that can be like different things that you can look for is like, does the moderator have experience with moderating well? And then does the moderator have like a personal vendetta against you? As in like, did you get along before or did you not get along? Like, do they not like you? If you know that the moderator doesn't like you, then it's probably going to be a personal problem with them. Like, for example, as a moderator, when I do have like personal ties with someone, like if I don't like them personally, I will let other moderators talk to you if you are in trouble, kind of thing. So Nariko is asking, how do you know if you have a warning? I can't take social cues. So if you have a warning, it'll be, at least in this server, what we do is we have Carlbot send you a DM and say, hey, you've been warned for this reason or that reason. If you haven't been warned, or if you've been warned lightly, like, hey, make sure to stay on topic, those usually don't count as warnings in the server. Hazen Silkencoat is asking, what is an important quality to look for when seeking a mentor? So, let me think here. For me, what I look for is someone who is level-headed and tries to maintain unbiased opinions about people whenever they are trying to decide what to do for a certain thing. So, for example, if you are going to someone for advice and they're like, oh, just kill them or something. Just for an example, just FYI, for legal purposes, not for serious, but like I've had people where I go to them and I'm seeking advice and they give me really bad advice, like just kill them. Yeah, that's not cool. So what I do look for whenever I'm seeking like advice or something like that from someone is someone who looks at the bigger picture, someone who looks at the other side of the other, this is where my ESL comes in, hold on, other side of the coin, I guess. So that's what I do when I'm looking for a mentor. Okay, do we have any other questions before we move on? Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. That was a lot of good and thought-provoking questions that I did not even think about at the beginning. So I was just like, But thank you for asking those questions. They were really good. So moving on, we have etiquette for viewers. So I know for a fact, because I made this presentation, that it's going to be long and it's going to be a little nitty gritty, I guess. So just bear in mind, it is a lot of stuff that I feel is important to talk about, but it might be a little cut and dry. So just bear with me as we get through this. Topics that we will be covering is chat etiquette, topics to avoid in chat, interacting with your streamer, parasocial relationships and red flags, and then a summary. So streamer chat etiquette. The first thing that you always want to do is read and follow the rules. Ask a moderator if you have a borderline question, like say ENVtubers has a no safe for work content thing, policy in our server. So if you have something that you're like on the fence about, like you have to ask, do ask, because we want to make sure that you're able to be comfortable with what you're saying, but then make sure that other people are comfortable too. So if you have borderline comments, just ask a moderator. It's okay to ask questions. Be polite to other chatters. So if you are if you are talking to a streamer and they have an active chat, just make sure that you're not like bashing on them or like talking over them. Just kind of like be in the same area ambiently and just kind of like cheer on the same streamer kind of thing. So you also don't want to spam and you don't want to plug in other streams or commissions. So that includes things like I'm going to watch another stream, or I'm going to watch my friend's stream, or I'm going to leave this stream so I can watch another stream because yours is boring. Don't plug streams like that. That's not cool. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths as well. So just don't do that. And then don't threaten or bribe the streamer with follows or subs. So one fun fact is that one of the first streams that I watched as a VTuber, or like when I was interested in becoming a VTuber, was Fumi, and someone was threatening her with saying, oh, if you tell me what this is, then I'll give you a follow or a sub. And she was like, quite frankly, I don't care. And that has like struck a chord with me. And I just love that. I just love that. But definitely don't threaten or bribe a streamer with follows or subs. It's not worth it to seem like a butthole, really. So topics to avoid in chat always. Trauma dumping. So I've had uncomfortable situations in my experience where someone will go into my chat and they'll be like, oh, my dog died. And I'm just like, that's great, but you know, it's kind of like, why did you bring this up? So ask me if you need mental health resources, but don't like ask me as a person, but don't be like, oh, I'm going to go to someone's chat and say the worst thing ever because I want to make their stream awkward too. Another thing is you don't want to overshare. So this is difficult for neurodivergent people to handle or like to discern because we like to overshare just as a community because, or as a collective, because the way that we connect with other people is to share our experiences, or the way that we feel like we can connect with other people is to share what's going on with our lives. Yeah, oversharing is not good. So make an active effort not to overshare. By oversharing, what I mean is like telling a chat all of the details of like where you live, your age, what you ate for breakfast today, and why it went wrong because you overcooked the egg or something like that. That's just too much information, so don't go with that. So another thing to avoid in chat is to avoid backseating, like backseat gaming or backseat coaching, I guess. Just don't do that. If a streamer wants advice from you, then they will ask. So another thing that you want to do is avoid spoiling. Spoilers are not great. You don't want to go into someone's chat and just be like, hey, you know that game that you're like really interested in? Well, this is what happens. Don't do that because that's just really inconsiderate. So the last thing that you want to avoid in chat is just to avoid anything that breaks the channel rules. Every channel is different. And people have different expectations for the channel. So make sure that you read the channel rules, like I said at the beginning, and familiarize yourself with them before chatting in the streamer's chat. All right, so interacting with your streamer. This slide is kind of like a mix between like some things that people suggested to me and some things that I felt was important. So one thing is when you're requesting content from a streamer, you want to make sure that they're okay with suggestions. So like if they are open to suggestions, they'll usually say like, hey, I'm open to game suggestions if I want, because I want to like explore new things, or they'll be like, yeah, I'm open to suggestions. It's totally fine. I want new viewers. But suggest content based off of the streamer's preferences, because say, for example, I am a variety streamer, so I like Digimon, I like Pokemon, I like Animal Crossing, I like Final Fantasy 14, but one thing I won't play is horror games, because horror games are so scary to me and I can't handle it. So if someone were to suggest a horror game to me, I probably wouldn't play it. That's just something for like food of thought, I guess. Now, check. Another thing is to check check their status if they're open to collabs or art trades or anything like that. So if they're open, go forth and ask. Like, it's totally fine to ask because they are open to it. But if they're closed, like if they have a status that says, hey, I'm closed to collabs, don't go in and ask them because you're just going to get a no. And then no is a valid response if you're asking out of the blue. Because if they don't have a status that says, hey, I'm open or closed, you never know. So it's worth asking. But no is a valid response. Please accept the no if they say no. Now, here's an important thing about streaming and content creating in general is parasocial relationships. So what is parasocial relationships, or what are they? The definition is a one-sided psychological relationship between an average person and a performer, typically a celebrity or a fictional character. This is super, super dangerous. It is a very slippery slope, and try to avoid developing parasocial relationships if you can, because it's just very, very unhealthy. Not only is it dangerous for the streamer, but it's also dangerous for you because you're just going to get hurt in the end, because if you get your hopes up, you think a streamer is like buddy-buddy with you, but they're not, they're just being their character, then you're just going to get hurt, and it's not fun. And then obviously, like with Oshinoko, you see the Hoshino dying to a stalker. Yeah, that's the other side of it. So streamers are very careful, or should be careful, about their viewers, but then their viewers should also be cognizant of developing parasocial relationships. Oh, damn spoilers, I'm sorry. It's episode 1, come on. So, common red flags to think about when you are interacting with your streamer is over-familiarity. You don't want to be over-familiar with this person because you don't know them. Unless you do, then that's a different story. But for most cases, you don't want to assume that they are as close to you as you think they are. Asking personal questions is not a good thing to do. I know there's a Twitter post floating around. Ume, if you could like post that in chat. It's like a series of questions that you should avoid asking. But just like avoid questions like don't ask their age, don't ask where they live, don't ask like their height, I guess, or like how much they weigh. That's all very personal stuff. Expecting the streamer to be more involved with you is also another red flag. So like, for example, if you see your streamer doing something like off stream, like they're playing League of Legends, don't go messaging them being like, hey, why didn't you invite me to your League game earlier? You know, because 1, it feels like stalking, and 2, that's like, that's just really bad idea. So that goes into the next point, which is stalking. If you find yourself like scrolling through their social media, looking for like pictures of them or things like that, that's a red flag, a very, very red flag. And then getting too emotionally invested in your streamer. So like, when is it too much? So when is it too much is meaning something like, when is it too much to feel for this person? Like, if they are posting something about a bad day that they had, if you're going out of your way to like search what's going on with their life, what happened with the thing that made them bad, and then going out of your way to like attack the person, that's kind of a red flag too. So if you felt called out by the previous slide in the slightest, take a step back, reevaluate your relationship with the streamer or the person in question, and then respect their boundaries. So you always want to think about if you are being too much, really, like if you're being too familiar with them or if you're asking too personal questions. But if you're ever confused about if you're making someone uncomfortable, just be honest and upfront. Ask to clarify if they are uncomfortable with you, because asking is always like the best way to figure out if, or to clear the air rather. Social cues and tones are hard to read, especially online. And this is especially hard for neurodivergent people. So you guys, like myself, have to work extra hard to figure out if things are okay or if things are not. So just ask if you have questions, because that's always the best way to figure out if someone is uncomfortable with you. So in summary, you want to respect people's boundaries. Parasocial relationships are bad. Communication is key, and always voice your concerns. As a side note, not all streamers are the same as their streaming personas. So if you are getting invested in them and then you find out that they, as a person, are different from what their streaming persona is, don't be disappointed, because it is, at the end of the day, an entertainment way, a form of entertainment, rather. So this is where I will be taking questions about etiquette for viewers towards their streamers. Oh man, I missed a lot. So I was avoiding like chat because I get oh, Keck in stream chat is like Nisa lecture pog. Yeah. So let me see here. Reading. No problem, Angela. So how can you differentiate becoming acquainted with a streamer professionally and as a viewer? So if you're becoming, if you are communicating with the streamer personally, like on Discord, and you're just like, hey, let's develop like a working relationship, I want to collaborate with you, that would be an example of you developing a relationship with a professional relationship with the streamer. As a viewer, if you're only talking to them in their streamer chat, then that's probably where you're just kind of like, just as a viewer to them. Okay, let's see what else. Is it okay to lurk on people's streams? Yeah, it's totally okay to lurk. So one of the things that I think is very important is to be able to be comfortable with who you're talking to and who you're reaching out to. So if you're not quite comfortable yet to talk to someone, that's totally fine. Just kind of lurk their streams, enjoy their content, and be supportive of them by watching what they do and just be the silent supporter. That's totally fine. Nariko asks, are there things that, like, as a viewer shouldn't say because I don't know what I can or cannot say? So as a viewer, you want to avoid those topics that I mentioned at the beginning. Let me see if I can, like, go back. Topics to avoid. So you want to avoid trauma dumping. So things like my mom has cancer, my dog died, I had a terrible day at work because my boss is really mean to me and I have a terrible time and I just want to go home crying. Those are all like examples of trauma dumping. Oversharing is similar to trauma dumping, but it's not necessarily like uncomfortable in the sense that you make the person feel bad. So oversharing is more like, I went to the hospital today because I had a brain tumor, I guess, for a lack of a better example. And then backstating and spoiling. Um, so, no personal questions, but you have more examples. I would say something like bringing politics or religion into a chat, unless it's a specific channel towards that, is something that you should avoid as well. Avoid like spamming random things. Like if you're off topic, try not to say like, if the topic is talking about the functionalities of why the ocean is blue, you should not talk about how the bumblebee cannot fly theoretically because its body is too big for its wings. Okay. I don't know if this is upcoming or what you should do as a streamer if that happens and you're scared to call someone out. I will be talking about that later, so don't worry. And then to piggyback off of this, what happens if you're not scared enough to call them out and end up going too far with it? I don't know what that means, Doku. So you're going to have to clarify that, but I think I'll be covering it in the next section because the next section will be about streamers to viewers. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and move forward. If there are no other questions, etiquette for streamers. So the topics that I'll be covering for etiquette to streamers, for streamers to viewers, is interacting with your viewers, how to spot red flags and what to do to avoid them, curating your community, collaborations, and aside. So interacting with your viewers. You always want to be professional, even if someone is being like rude to you. You don't want to be like rude to them back. Generally, just kind of like ban them and be done with it because it doesn't get worth it to fight with people. Uh, but you choose your battles, and if you, it, in my opinion, it's not a good look to fight with people in public. So if you have an issue, then always like take it to private DMs.
Daisy_Todd_draws became a small duckling.
Keep an arm's length towards the people that you're talking to because you don't want to overshare and then make them think that you are more comfortable with them than you actually are. Viewers aren't automatically your friends, as unfortunate as that is. It's true. People who regularly view your streams will want to support you, but not necessarily be your friend. Unless that is something that they want to do, then yeah, you can get to know them in DMs, but talking to them in a public chat about personal things is not necessarily the best method to go about it. And then think about the language and cultural differences that happen with your viewers and then yourself. So if you are making a joke and someone doesn't think that it's funny, or if someone doesn't understand it, be willing to explain it because not everyone comes from the same culture as you or understands the same language as you. So spotting red flags for viewer or streamers to viewers. So unsolicited DMs that are asking personal questions or just in general, for example, I had a random person join my Discord server and then DM'd me being like, hey, can I ask you a question? It's lewd. And I'm just like, no, that's not cool. No. So they blocked me immediately and I thought that was really funny. But that's a red flag for me. Overdependency and reliance on other people or like your streamers, over on your viewers is also a red flag. So if your viewers are like contacting you all the time and being like, hey, I want to talk to you, I miss you, when are you going to stream again? That's kind of a red flag, and you don't really want to condone that behavior because it's just going to get worse. General discomfort. So if someone makes you uncomfortable or makes you feel guilty and makes you want to avoid talking to them, those are red flags too. So if, for example, someone were to DM me and they constantly DM me and they're like, why aren't you talking to me? Why didn't you respond to me? I see you talking in this chat, but you're not talking to me. That makes me feel guilty. That makes me feel uncomfortable. And that's a surefire way to get you on my block list. Because the last point is if you feel unsafe. If you feel unsafe with someone, then that is a very important thing to take note of because it's your mind telling you that this person is trouble. Don't associate with them. Which moves on to my next point is handling the red flags. If you feel safe, go ahead and be honest and upfront with the person that you're talking to and set your boundaries straight. So, for example, if someone is like talking to me and they're over familiar with me and I want to explain to them that they are relying on me too much, then I'll just let them know, hey, I feel like you are talking too much. Not that. I feel like you are oversharing your problems with me and I'm not sure how to handle it is a very valid way to approach that situation. And if you feel safe enough to talk about them or talk to them about that, then that's something that you can like clear up and then communicate and then try kind of like reset the boundaries so that everyone can be comfortable again. But if you don't feel unsafe, record everything, block them, and then ban them. So recording everything is just so that if you have to file a police report, or if you have to report to Discord, or if you have to report to Twitter, then you have records of them being creepy or uncomfortable or threatening to you. So hopefully with that record, like with the evidence, then you'll be able to back up your position and have the person involved be banned off the platform, hopefully. So that leads to my next point, which is curating your community. As something that I've noticed from the years is that audience draw from your energy. So, for example, if you have someone that like really likes your energy, they'll stick around. If someone doesn't vibe with you, they usually don't. So build upon that and make your audience and your community into something that makes you comfortable, because ultimately it's within your right to set your own boundaries, and it's within your right to build your own community. If you don't vibe with someone, just kick them out, or you can ask them to leave if you don't feel comfortable enough to kick them out. Personally, I do a bit of both. Like if they are absolutely rude, if they are absolutely disruptive, then I will just kick them out. But if they are nice, they just don't vibe with the community, then I'll just be like, hey, I noticed that you don't quite fit in, or you're making people uncomfortable, or I don't feel comfortable with you in my community. Can you please leave? That's very valid. And you can say that if you want. Or if you don't want, then just kick them. But don't be afraid to upset people, because at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. It's just you trying to build your community. So another thing to talk about is collaborations. So at the beginning of a collaboration, you want to be able to communicate your expectations and boundaries. Make sure to match the person's energy, so when you're streaming, you don't get overpowered by them or they don't overpower you. Know your collab partner so that you know what they're comfortable with and what they're uncomfortable with. Don't try and like put them in uncomfortable positions, for example. So if you know that your stream collab partner is someone who gets uncomfortable with certain topics, don't bring those topics up just to make them uncomfortable on stream, because that's really, really off-putting, and they probably won't collab with you ever again if you do that. Another thing you want to do is be cognizant of your voice. Don't overpower the other person, because it's not fun if the stream is a collab, but then it's just mostly one person talking. So the last point is to be willing to compromise and be open to ideas, because at the end of the day, it is a collaboration. You are working together, so you want to be able to make sure that everyone is on the same page, having fun, and enjoying their time together. So that's the last point, is just have fun. So in summary, you want to be professional when interacting with your viewers. Set your boundaries and don't be afraid to reinforce them. Curate your community to what your wants and needs are. And then when collaborating with someone, set expectations and boundaries ahead of time. All of these points are really important as a streamer towards your other viewers, because you want to make sure that you set your boundaries. You want to make sure that you are comfortable, because at the end of the day, if you aren't enjoying what you're doing, then what's the point of doing it to begin with? Do we have any questions? Is it common to have a test call to verify your collaboration setup and partner are good? Yeah, I would say it's not common, but I would say it's very recommended. I personally do test calls to verify that everything is set up and good, so that if if someone is too quiet, then we can set that up so that they aren't too quiet in stream when it happens. So go ahead, and that is a good suggestion, is just to like set up a test call right before or before the collab itself, just to make sure that everything is in check. This question is about what to do if someone is sexualizing you. Can I ask it? In this server, probably not. But the best thing, without going to like detail, the best thing is probably just to say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with you doing this. Can you please stop? That's very valid. What are traits you look for in a collab partner? So what I look for in a collab partner is someone who is having fun but isn't too loud, because loud people kind of put me off. So that's just that's just a personal preference of mine. I know that some people prefer louder streamers so that they don't have to talk, but at the same time, it's like, if you're there to have fun, are you having fun being overshadowed by someone else? Do we have anything else? I see people typing. What do you do if you're planning a collaboration but you're too scared to speak? So, one of the things that I suggest is just to keep practicing, keep doing more collabs, because the more comfortable you are, or the more you do collabs, the more comfortable you'll be. And then the more comfortable you are, the more you're willing to talk. So just do more practice and see if that'll help you. From a musical side, if I collab with someone I've been approaching for vocal work, what should I be expecting if it isn't my project? I think I read that wrong. Hold on. If I collab with someone I've been approached for vocal work, what should I be expecting if it isn't my project? Oh, if I've collabed with someone, wait. Could you reword that, please? Okay. What should I be expecting if it isn't my project? Like, what should I expect? What is expected of me to provide? Oh, okay. So, generally, you want to do your research into whatever the project is, or if it isn't your project, but like you are being approached by it, then try to ask the person for background information so you can do more research on it, just so that you can like get a feel for it to see if it'll help. Question mark? Is that question answered? Okay, cool. All right. Deku asks, is refusing to acknowledge someone who's getting banned from chat server a good thing, or am I going too far? So, yeah, if you refuse to acknowledge someone because they've been banned, then that's totally fine. Like, they shouldn't be trying to ban evade or anything like that. And if they don't accept the ban, or if they don't accept the warning, then that's a red flag, and I would remove that person from my server immediately. Oh, silently banning them? Yeah, that's totally fine. if we collab with someone for the first time, how do we make sure to leave a good impression that would make them want to collab with you again? I would say just see if they. So if you do the steps that I mentioned earlier. So let me see if I can get back to them. Collaborations. As long as you like communicate with them and then set your boundaries, make sure to match their energy, then they should be comfortable with you to be able to collab again. You don't want to force any relationship. So even if it's like a working relationship, go ahead and like, sorry, I saw something and I got distracted. um, go ahead and, okay, pause, restart. If you guys naturally like get along, then they will want to collab with you again. But if they don't mesh with you, that's totally fine, and you should not expect another collaboration. Just kind of like go into it thinking, oh, this is a one-time thing, and if they like me later, then we can collab again, and that'll be great. To follow up on that, if both of you are expecting, oh, we're not going to collab again, but I would like to collab with them, just feel free to like communicate that. Just be like, hey, so I really liked hanging out with you. Do you want to do it again? And then if they say no, I mean, it's not the end of the world. But if they say yes, that's great, right? Oh, sorry. I'm facing the wrong way. Yeah. Um, would you collab with someone who has approached you for a commission? So, yeah, I would. I mean, that's totally fine. Like my business relationships are different from my personal relationships, but if I have a friend who commissions me, I will treat them as well as I would someone who I don't know commissions me. So it's the same as like if they commission me after the fact or before the fact and then we collab with each other, then that's totally fine. I'm able to differentiate the two, but it's just something that takes practice. Um, what if you feel midway through a collab that is not working out and you just really, and you feel that going through it to completion is just really awkward? Or perhaps they say something that really puts you off. Oh, that's a really good question, Lune. My biggest thing is that if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I would. So this is a really bad way to do it, but go ahead and just say that you have to go or something came up and just kind of be like, hey, so sorry, but something came up, I gotta go. And then explain to them in DMs that you didn't really feel comfortable. Or you can just say, hey, something came up, I don't really feel comfortable, so I'm just going to not talk to you again. Maybe don't say it like that, but if they put something off or they say something that puts you off, just do communicate that and say, hey, what you said really made me uncomfortable. So I just want to let you know in case we do collab again that not to say that because that personally would make me uncomfortable and not talk to you again. And if they care about your opinion and if they care about what you do, or if they care about building a relationship with you, then they will respect what you said. Um, how do you find someone you know you will vibe with? That is a really good question because I feel like there is no surefire way to know if you will have a good way or if you will have a good vibe with someone. Unless it's like, oh, you've been friends for 5,000 years. Up to Misa? What is this? But anyway, if you've been friends for a long time and you know that you'll get along well and that the stream will be successful with both of you communicating with each other and just having fun, then that's great. But like, if it's someone random that you're just like, hey, so you just met this person in ENVtuber server and you wanna, if you wanna, if you wanna collab, then it's just kind of like you're taking a chance, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, set your boundaries, and if they respect those boundaries, then it should be fine? Question mark. Did I answer your question, or was that too much rambling? Okay, awesome. All right, so last thing, I think, or no, we're good? Okay, so summary. So Discord etiquette. Dang! So this is not a very long section, so don't worry, you guys. We can continue. So Discord etiquette, joining new servers, general tips, voice calls, and then the big question, flirting and romantic relationships. So this this section is loaded. So joining new servers, the first thing you want to do is read the rules, familiarize yourself with the server, and introduce yourself. It's okay to be nervous at first, and it's okay to lurk until you're comfortable. So just do it at your pace. It's not a race, so do whatever makes you comfortable first. General tips for Discord servers, though, is it's okay to ask for topic changes if something makes you uncomfortable, and respect other people's boundaries. So if someone says, hey, this makes me uncomfortable, make an active effort to change the topic so that they are comfortable too. Don't make inappropriate jokes, especially if you aren't familiar with the person. So that goes back to the familiarity thing. Don't assume someone's familiarity with you, because it might not be the same level as you unless you've already communicated with them and you're like besties, and they've said so. Read the room and stay on topic. So reading the room is basically like, if the chat is flowing and is talking about, say, dogs are fluffy and they are bred to be really cute, you don't want to talk about cats or how birds fly across the sun and die, I guess. Make make threads for branch topics. So if you have a topic that you want to talk about, so say you have a topic that is like, it's going on about dogs and you want to talk about cats, just make a topic that is like, hey, I'm going to talk about cats now. Join this thread. So yeah, but sorry, that was a little bad. Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, don't self-promo unless you're allowed. Usually servers have channels that have designated self-promo areas, so just look for that whenever you're looking to self-promo. In voice calls, you want to make sure to use push to talk or mute when you're not talking, or when you're talking to chat if you're streaming. But on that topic, you don't want to stream in calls unless every participant is welcoming to that, because it's a privacy issue. No one wants to be recorded without permission, so just make sure that everyone is on the same page before streaming in calls. So here's the big thing that I wanted to focus on in Discord, because I know that a lot of people are curious about this, but it's a lot of questioning if it's appropriate to ask, or questioning if it's even appropriate to think about. So if it's a stream, so let's talk about flirting and romance. If it's a streamer you admire, forget about it, because you want to avoid parashows for relationships. If they are open to it, then that's a different question. But the most important thing is consent is a must. So drop the topic if they're not interested. Friendliness is not necessarily equal to interested in dating. So if someone is friendly to you, just because they are doesn't mean that they're interested in you. And then have realistic expectations when networking, which means no expectations, because most people aren't here for romantic relationships. Be courteous and understanding with other people. So if they aren't interested for whatever reason, if they're in a relationship, if they're not looking for a relationship, if they're not interested in you, just respect that and just kind of like move on, because what is the saying? It's like there something about an ocean. There are other fish in the sea, something like that. I don't actually know the saying. But yeah, so that's the summary of flirting and romance. So in summary for Discord, read the rules, stay on topic, respect other people's boundaries and don't assume familiarity, avoid parasocial relationships, and push to talk or mute when you're not talking in voice calls. Does anyone have questions? There's plenty of pancakes in the Denny's. Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm assuming no one has questions. So let's go ahead and head towards the conclusion. So etiquette takeaway is you want to be able to be considerate of others, and don't be afraid to ask questions, because questions will clear things up and make sure that everyone is on the same page. You want to respect people's boundaries, because if not, then you can expect to be cut out of their life. That's just the takeaway, I guess. Uh, there's not really much else to it. Just kind of like be considerate of others. Think about treat others how you want to be treated, kind of thing, and just kind of, if you're shy, then try and overcome it and talk to people. Because if you keep everything to yourself, then it'll just make things worse for you. So, do we have any final questions? Aw, thank you, Tokume. The title font? Yeah, let me. I can give that to you later, Toxana. Yeah, no worries. Thank you guys for coming. So if we have no other questions, many thanks to everyone who came by to watch this stream or this workshop. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I can send the presentation so that everyone is able to view it later. Thank you, E dot dot dot. I actually don't know. Is that Yvette?
That is. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, everyone, thank you for coming. We're gonna make a post after, so you with a link to her Twitch, so you can view the VOD, and a link to the PowerPoint, so that you can review the slides if you so wish. But again, thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next workshop.
Yeah, see you guys. Wait. Yeah. Okay, I just needed to use that. So let me go ahead and end stream here so that we can just